We acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Wadawurrung people. I hear the birds singing above my head. I feel the air hitting my face. I see the beautiful trees waving in the air. I taste the salty sea when I go snorkeling. Thank you, Wadawurrung people, for sharing your land with us.
If you grow food in the ground and you eat that food and you drink the water that falls on the land that you live on, then whether you like it or not, the stories of that land is actually part of you. If we are part of the land, we all have a responsibility to learn some of that language that's come from that land. It's a part of all of us, it is. The land that my house is on and the land that our school is on was stolen. We need to sit with that and acknowledge that. We have to teach that to our children so that they can understand how absurd that is. Even when they're really young. When we do that, they can begin to imagine what impact that has had on others and the land that they live on. And when we're planning to teach our children things, we need to start planning by looking through a filter of truth. We have to start looking through a filter of listening to First Nations people and look to them to teach us how to respect and take care of country and people and animals. And if we do that, we might just be able to start some healing. When it comes to the planning of the teaching and the learning, because the whole premise of this subject is that it's based on truth, that it's based on caring for people, caring for animals and caring for country. That's what it's all about. Often in education you get a bit bogged down in trying to get evidence of the learning and assessing the learning. Often it also falls back on assessing kids in a written way. So they read a test and they write an answer, and learning is just so much more than that. The idea is that everything that we learn is not only accessible to kids, but it can be measured. So if we've learnt about fire, and I want to get an idea of what understandings you've got after having learnt about it, if you can't write it, you can say it. If you can't say it, you can draw it. If you can't draw it, you can make it. If you can't make it, you can act it. If you can't act it, you can dance it. You have to be really fluid in the way that you're planning, and you've only got 1 hour with kids, so you have to be creative in what you're doing. But First Nations Studies isn't about opening up a book and writing stuff down necessarily. It's much more about connecting with people, connecting with country, and connecting with the truth about how things have come to be the way that they are.
The things that we learned in First Nations Studies was really the history about the First Nations people and what they've accomplished, all the different strategies to survive, using fire to kind of get rid of fire, which is kind of smart.
The burning or smoking ceremonies, in which they hit green leaves against an open flame to produce smoke and ward away evil spirits. And the weaving circle, which was where the ladies sat down in a circle and weaved baskets and eel traps for fishing.
They do it very intricately because it looks very hard. I couldn't even do it. I learnt that even though the Aboriginal people didn't have technology and fancy houses, they had so much more than we do, like traditions and dances and weaving and languages, and they were all from the people rather than the one person in charge or the person with all the money. All the people had bonded together and made these things happen.
First time I came here, I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. And barely anyone actually gets taught First Nations, so it's very good to actually learn about it.
For us, there's such great value in the program because it just brings to life what we've really tried to be nurturing in our child, which is, a deep respect of nature. And now there's this beautiful layer that Kelly's been bringing in about Wadawurrung language and Wadawurrung people, and how they've got a print on all of the land around us, and our son, lives and breathes that now. We would be driving, for example, and he might see a bird, and he'll share the name of that bird in Wadawurrung language with us, and I hear him passing on those stories to his sister, and this is in the fabric of his learning now. It's part of him, and I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that because it he can stand up for against racism now. He can be a voice for others, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing in our life, and for him, yeah.
For me, I think the most important thing is the not European-centric view of history that they have, that we certainly didn't get as kids. They've got a real understanding of what the First Fleet actually meant to the First Nations people, and why there might be controversial or seemingly controversial things like dates for Australia Day, etc. They've actually got a deeper understanding than I think a lot of adults do. I can't speak highly enough for the study of First Nations. I think it's been, I think the most important subject that they've been taught. I think teaching the kids about the stolen generation in a way that isn't threatening, that they can understand, and that's, it's factual. It's not whitewashed. It's not glossed over. It is the truth. It is what happened, and to give them an understanding of that right from an early age, I think sets them up for a lifetime of respect, and I think a real understanding of what the First Nation people have gone through. That we certainly missed out on. With the education that we got, it would be a hugely beneficial thing if more schools adopted a program like this. I can only see positive outcomes for our kids. And their friends, and that the things that they've learnt, and I could see that being hugely beneficial for all kids in Australia and adults, realistically. I just couldn't speak more highly of it, and I would love to see a time and place where all students were exposed to this sort of education.
See little Porgil with her colourful wings, Bart Engel's beak is so strong, used to scoop up things. Carwalk sounds like he laughs when he sings. They're friends with Bunjil, they're friends with Bunjil, and they can fly, 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 fly. Yes, they can fly, 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 fly. Colours for the Wa with her feathers of black. Pawang uses sticks to make the sky break and crack. Graceful Coonawarra carries babies on her back. They're friends with Bunjil, they're friends with Bunjil. Bunjil in the sky created the land, created the waters, the stars and sand. It's here for you, it's here for me, and we are friends with Bunjil, and we can fly, 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 fly. Yes, I can fly, 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 fly. Fly, 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 fly. Fly, 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 fly.
At the moment, as a non-Indigenous teacher, it seems really clear to me that people realise that there is a need for teaching First Nations content to children. They know our past, and many people, I believe, have got a real yearning for feeling more connected to First Nations people, more connected to country and culture. But I think people just don't know where to start. But it's not the decision of where to start. It's actually just a decision to start. You start by buying books by First Nations authors. You start by researching and seeing what things are already here. You start by connecting with First Nations people and listening to them. And then it will just start to grow.